Hello, hello, and what a lovely day in Southern California. I just have to say that. My name is Julie Hirschberg. I'm joining you live today. I'm going to add on my colleague here, the wonderful and amazing Miss Brittany Kim. Getting her on here. She's joining me live today, and today we're sharing a little bit about us, our stories. We hop on here every week to share what we're doing, what we're learning at Re+active, and we don't always take the chance to share about ourselves. Who are we? Who are the people behind all of this Re+active, particularly the Re+active education? So I see Brittany here. Brittany, just press that button to join me live. And what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about our stories, the why behind Re+active education, and particularly with complex cases. I really feel like Brittany and I, and really our whole team, are kind of like this complex case lovers. And it looks like Brittany's having trouble joining here. I wonder, let me try adding her again. Let's invite her and see if she can join us. But other people have. Hey, Meg. Oh, there's Brittany. Yay. Hi, how are you, Brittany?
How are you?
Good, good. I'm glad you're here. So I was just kind of telling everybody, like, we share so much about what we're learning, what we're doing, and we don't often share about ourselves and a lot of the why behind what we do. And particularly what I was just saying was like this love of complex cases, right? And I think that's like a big part of Re+active. It's a big part of the why of Re+active. And it's a big part of your why too, and Re+active education. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to share about ourselves. So I'll start quickly, but if you haven't met me, I am Julie Hirschberg, and I founded Re+active when I think about this right now because my daughter's outside and I see her going by. I started when my kids were babies. So they were both under 3 years old, which just seems crazy to me because now they're 13 and 11. And I started when I was a part of a more traditional type practice, and they laid me off. I'm not like super proud of that, but I'm so glad they did, because they kind of said, like, neuro can't really be done well in this setting. It doesn't fit a traditional model. The cases are too complex. The people are complex. It's a lot of resources, and we can't do it. And I was devastated, and really lit a fire under me to do this, right? And I would say I've been learning and trying to figure out how to do this ever since, and to do it in a way too that I'm not burnt out. And I know this has been like something that we've been kind of talking about more and more. But I think when you're a neurotherapist, when you're a lover of the complexity of human beings, and if you're an empathetic and compassionate person, it's really easy to get burnt out in this field. We lose amazing physical therapists all of the time. And when I started Re+active, I couldn't burn out, because then Re+active would die, right? Like, it was like this. I have to take measures to protect myself and do what I love and keep Re+active going, because I was so passionate about it. Now, from that, we started Re+active education. That's when we started our fellowship program and started doing courses and getting out into the world here and sharing videos to other colleagues and things like that. So that started, gosh, about 6 years ago, that we've been doing. And then enter Brittany into Re+active education. So Brittany, you have to share a little bit about your background and how you ended up at Re+active too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say I've always been someone who loved both ortho and neuro in particular. And even when I was in school, I was really struggling myself to like I knew I wanted to do residency, but it was just which residency do I want to do? Do I want to do a neuro residency, an ortho residency? And I ended up choosing the path of the orthopedic residency program because I felt, well, that's where I really want to grow and I want to grow fast and I would get mentorship there. And I felt that with the neuro side, I had a kind of an intuitive understanding, and I could probably, with, reaching out to different mentors, develop my skills, or I could change gears and maybe do another residency or fellowship, I guess, if I wanted to. But after I did the residency, I said, I think I'm done for now. So, but yeah, I felt like the ortho residency was where I was going to be able to build the skills that I needed to help the people that I wanted to help. And so, I was very clear about when I applied to USC's residency program that I really wanted ortho and neuro, and I wanted to be at a place that would provide that for me. And so I ended up kind of getting my wish, and actually more, because where I was placed, I also was part of an interdisciplinary pain team that focused primarily on treating people with complex regional pain syndrome. So I developed a passion for treating people with CRPS, and I feel like it is one of the coolest diagnoses to be able to work with because you can see change, and it's also a great opportunity to combine that orthopedic and neuro kind of background together, because you have to treat both in order to help those people make good changes. And so then, I basically my main experience was being in the outpatient orthopedic environment. So I had kind of different experiences. I would be working with patients, on the hour or every half hour. And then in some cases, I was doing mainly just half hour with aides and that kind of stuff. And that was really challenging for me because I was someone who really valued being able to be one-on-one with my clients and working with them. And so it became time that I realized it was time for me to find a new job. And I was just like, hello, Julie, like, do you have a job? Maybe I could be the ortho to your, I don't know. And then Julie said yes. So I feel like that was like my dream job come true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I still kind of remember that and being like, yes. Just knowing our shared love of both. And I think that's kind of what gets to the complexity of things, is that it's rarely just one thing, right? It's rarely just, oh, your nervous system's a little out of whack, or, oh, like this joint, right? It's like bringing all of those pieces together. And I know we both really love that. And pretty quickly you were a part of reactive education because there's such a need for education and mentoring where these pieces overlap, right? So with pain or chronic pain or complex regional pain syndrome, with ortho skills and manual skills in people that might have different presentations than you would typically see in an orthopedic clinic, right? And we started having conversations. We started talking about dystonia. We started talking about functional movement disorders and all of these like intricate overlaps with CRPS and more that, I mean, I feel like since we met and since you joined Reactive, the world of like research in these areas has exploded. Yeah. And it keeps kind of coming back to some of these common themes, which are so interesting. So we've developed courses. It started out with like our kind of dystonia CRPS course, and then that expanded to include FND, and then that like expanded to be like even like bigger, just about functional neurologic disorders. So we've grown a lot. I was just thinking about that. We've grown a lot in our own understanding, but I think in like And I want to say it's not just you and I that are having these like secret
Mhm.
conversations behind closed doors, figuring these things out. I think it's actually through our team
Yeah.
they're just phenomenal that we're learning through and with them. For example, Brittany Charlet, she's teaching our course this week on persistent post-concussion symptoms and functional neurologic disorders. So we're learning like through and with our team on many of these complex pieces. And it's not always easy. I think this is where, I mentioned at the beginning, like it was so easy to kind of fall into really burning myself out. And taking on a lot. And I'm in a lot of therapy, but it's like I'm a natural people
Yeah.
pleaser, a bit of a perfectionist. Maybe I should add recovering in front of both of those words, but I'm working on it. And it has made it difficult to set good boundaries sometimes. I would work 12-hour days and not take a lunch and save all my documentation to the end of the day and like save all the emails I had to send to the end of the day and just be working really too much. And I'm wondering for you too, what have been some of the challenges that come up for you with working with more complex cases?
Yeah, I feel like it will pretty much the same. Yeah, I feel like it's hard when you like care so much and you feel like you could do so much for these people. And especially, I mean, I've heard from other therapists who kind of, I think they just share a similar viewpoint as we do too, where I think a lot of these people just kind of get pushed to the curb, and it's like so unfortunate. Sorry, Julie, I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I was like, trying not to.
It's part of our
Yeah.
passion though, Brittany. Like, I think I can't talk about things like that because I think we get so frustrated
Yeah.
that people are not being served well. Maybe they're being told it's in their head by multiple, like all in their head, or just pushed to the curb, not getting the support. And then they find you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like that's like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's, I think, to have like that kind of passion where you're like trying to help someone who other people maybe are like, well, I just don't have that skill set, or like I just don't know how to help you, and it could be like well-meaning, but at the same time, it's like, I'm like, well, I want to help you, but then that creates its own problems too, because then I think you just kind of like keep pushing yourself. But then I think what I've learned through that whole experience is I think I'm kind of like trying to be this like fixer person, trying to like fix the problems. And that's actually not my job. Like, my job is to help coach people and help people find their way to help themselves. So yeah, I think it's been a big journey, but I think so sorry everybody. But yeah, it's I care a lot, and that's also my problem. Yeah. Mhm.
I actually really just love that that's coming out because I think that is a big source of sometimes people even like having to leave what they do because they're just like, I just care
Yeah.
so much and it's weighing on me
Yeah.
personally, right? And um I mean that's one of the reasons that I love working with you, because I think that's like we share that, and then we also share a like, well, we're not just going to quit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like let's figure out how to do this better. Like we're
Yeah.
still going to just care like so much and have a huge heart for what we do, um but do it in a way that's sustainable too, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the really big challenge, is finding, it's like a dance of, like that's who you are and you want to care. But at the same time, like when you are working with people who are going through very difficult times, it's easy to somehow start taking that on and like, almost like embodying their experience. If you're like very empathetic. And so, yeah, I feel like it's really important to learn how to like take care of yourself, and also know like what your job is and what your role is in that situation, and how you can really help that person
Mm-hmm.
where they need to be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I feel like this is something that Brittany and I talk about so much.
Yeah.
And also I just want to like point out Bella says here, thank you for caring so much. Allison hopped on early too. She says, so grateful for you too and your care of complex cases. It's so needed, right? It is so needed. And I think this is why we're talking about it a lot. We talk about it with our team a lot. We've been like kind of planning honestly for the last few months of different ways that we can bring some of the support, like the support that we've gotten, whether that's through psychology, right? Like personally for me, having my own therapy or being a part of a team, growing an integrated team at Re+active has like made a huge difference in me not feeling like I'm carrying the whole picture,
Mm-hmm.
and working outside of my own like skill set,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's something. So anyway, like stay tuned.
Yeah.
We're working on something really big, and we'll be talking about it over the course of the month. And we're really excited about this idea of how therapists can work together to really understand themselves well and become really, really good at managing complex cases like functional neurologic disorders, like a complex movement disorder or complex regional pain syndrome, like dystonia, like persistent post-concussion syndrome, things like that, the things that you know we're passionate about. We talk about them all the time and all of our pie charts. What if that was simple, right? I think that's another thing I love about working with you, Brittany, is like taking tough stuff and like, how can we simplify it? Right? Like you're the queen of like algorithms and charts.
I mean, I just feel like when I am mentoring a lot of other therapists, I think what I see a lot of the time is people are kind of struggling with like getting hit with a million things at once. And then how are you supposed to juggle all of that all at once? It's like you literally have 100 balls that you're like juggling and someone's throwing more at you and you have to keep juggling. And then, oh, you have to change gears because it's a totally different day today, right? So and I feel like that's the part that I enjoy the most because it's a big challenge. And I think there is a way to really structure what that person is telling you and making it into a meaningful treatment that can be very focused and geared towards helping them achieve their goals. But it's really challenging because it's a constant dynamic process where you're just constantly changing gears. So, I mean, that's why I love mentoring is helping people discover how to process that information. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you didn't know this already, Brittany is an amazing mentor. She mentors our whole team, myself included, and our Brain Bites community. And we're so, so lucky. So we're really excited that we're working on something that brings all of those pieces together to help therapists, to help patients really get the kind of care they deserve, with the kind of therapist that they really deserve to work with as well. The one that can be that compassionate, caring person, like you said, Bella, but also in a sustainable way for them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is coming up. In the meantime, we put a question in our stories this week of wondering what other people find challenging with complex cases. Allison already responded with an answer about communication, right? And she's actually doing a workshop in March on communication, which is great because Allison, I think that is one of the key pieces, communication from both sides, right? That is huge. So we want to hear from you. What do you find challenging in the whole scheme of management for yourself, for the person that you're working with? And so respond to that. We want to hear from you. We will respond back too. And also, if you're not already part of our newsletter, you can go to reactiveeducation.com. We share all of our videos, all the stuff that we're learning, all the research that we share that all in a weekly newsletter. So you can go to reactiveeducation.com. There's also a link in our bio here. But if you're really interested in growing, especially with complex cases, this is what we talk about every week. So join us for that newsletter. And we will be back. One of the things that Brittany and I also love that we do this together is work with some amazing professionals. And gosh, Brittany, I think, was it the first year that you joined Reactive is when we first hosted Mike Studer for a course?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I say this, and every year it's true. Like, I sit down in that course and I come away a different person.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how Mike does it, but he always, it's just like mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing every time. So we're going to be talking about some of those Mike Studerisms. Neuroplasticity is one of them. I'm going to talk about it this Friday on our Facebook Live. And really hang on, because there's a special sale that's coming up on his course too. So that's coming on Thursday. So if you've been waiting and thinking about that course, catch us on Thursday. That's coming up. We're so fortunate that these people are colleagues and friends. I feel so lucky. Somebody like Mike Studer. So we're really excited to have him join us and all of his learning, sharing his learning and mentoring with us. So Brittany, thank you. Thanks for sharing you today. I so appreciate it. And I really, really, truly appreciate being able to work with you.
Likewise.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.